Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Tuesday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Hope you had a wonderful Monday. Don't forget that you can still register for Master David evening class tonight, live Tai Chi Gung, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Let him know that Lama Ji sent you. Today's lesson is going to be creative sparks, exploring the depths of self-expression. Well, one of the things, and of course, you could put Master David at the top of the list, and I'm sure if you talk to Nate and Lisa, they would share with you what has changed in their musical career since being involved with Tai Chi Gung for 3 years. Also, Brother Joseph McCurry with his artwork. I think they would back the Lama up and say how more creative they've got and to the depths of that creativity since the pursuit of Tai Chi Gung. You know, children are born either with a more left brain or more right brain function. And if you have a right brain function, you have the tendency to be creative in nature, but you also struggle in a very lineal world. People who are born with the left brain, they kind of get in line a little bit easier. They're used to more lineal and analytic thinking. They do a whole process before they do anything. And they believe in that process. So with academics, they have a tendency to do well. Right brain kids can have challenges even at the beginning of early grade school and mid school because they are so creative. It's like thinking round and being in a square pegged room. How do you put a round thing in a square peg, right? It just doesn't go. Another syndrome that happens with some creativity, they can be autistic, they can be attention deficit, they have a tendency toward dyslexia. They also have a hard time adjusting to the world unless they immediately embrace the creative arts, which was primarily the reason they were sent here, with such an over right brain function. If a parent is following the way of Tai Chi Gung and they're sitting down with their children or their grandchildren, they're teaching them the column exercise. If they're teaching them the four standing exercise, everything gets going in. How do I know that? Lama Ji was one of those people. I was born with such a right brain activity and I was so spontaneously, but I remember being shocked at trying to integrate in the world. I had acute dyslexia. I was definitely attention deficit until I entered a life of training and study in number one, martial arts, and number two, with yoga training, and then the entertainment business, primarily through the world of dance. By working with these three modus operandas, these three maladies, if you will, little by little, my soul became more comfortable here. Right brain children have a tendency to already have deeply embedded in them the Mosar Syndrome. You've heard me talk a lot about death urge. It's rooted in what happened with Amadeus Mozart to the famous dancer Nijinsky, to pop artists like Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, right? Southern rock and roll and bluegrass, Elvis Presley. They all had what was referred to as the Mozart syndrome. That meant when they looked in the mirror, they didn't see what we saw in them. So it's a real challenge, right? have a tendency, because they don't feel comfortable in this environment, to become more introvert and not balancing enough with the extrovert. Now, performing helps a lot, but not everybody is willing to overcome the fear to perform for that to kick in. This is why, my brothers and sisters, what Lamaji is sharing with you, and if you're a teacher with us, the information that I'm giving you is priceless. Absolutely priceless, right? So about 1/3 of the children that are born today have already this syndrome. Their right brain is already highly functional, but they're born into an environment that feels uncomfortable. It will make them feel like, do they belong at all? And we need to help them understand that it's safe here, because they haven't felt safe since they left their mother's womb, which is birth trauma. They have a tendency to have an enormous amount of birth trauma in the beginning, and then later the death urge, because of self-worth. Self-worth has so much to do where your death urge is, self-confidence, self-expression. You can't self-expression if you don't. We have seen people, young adults, especially in our organization, that was about 6 to 18 months in that they started to take their art out of the closet. And when they did, oh my God, they felt like they had found home. It's a real feeling here. Master David is teaching a phenomenal creative arts music class every Monday, right? You might want to check that out. It's amazing, because, you know, we're teaching Tai Chi Gung teachers and students music. There's, guitar, there's piano, there's violin, there's singing, there's chanting, right? But most importantly, it's all these people have the foundation of training in the Tai Chi Gun area, which balances both hemisphere of the brain. They referred to that in science as applied kinesiology, right? Everybody knows today that the right brain controls the left side of your body, and vice versa. The left brain controls the right side of your body. All of us come into this world a little bit quasi-moto. In other words, one part of your body and brain is dragging the other part around. You ever felt like that? Hit us up in the comment sections if you've had these experiences, or as a parent or grandparents, you're aware of some of your children that have had these challenges. Our system of Tai Chi Gung that we teach here at the Circle of Chi can really help rectify that. It's a real malady that will strengthen that balance and the upliftment that people receive from the gathering Wednesday afternoon at 1 o'clock and at 7:30. And also soon to be at Saturday at 4 p.m. It helps them feel comfortable with that, right? So that's the way that it is. So remember that the self-expression is really, really important. But don't forget, there's a lot of people very fearful of coming forth with the self-expression. And that's our job here as teachers of Tai Chi Gung, to help them feel comfortable enough to and safe enough to bring forth their self-expression. Baraka Bashai to you and your glorious family. Let us have the best week ever. I'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day. Take care and God bless.